Welcome to
CryptTeaze Family Fun Night.
Let's do it.
Hey everybody, I'm Chase Will.
I'm Lucas Liner.
And my name is Makenna Weyburne.
And this is CryptTeaze Family Fun Night.
Woo!
Tonight's a little different. We have our youngest guest yet, so we are going to try to keep it PG and no cursing. we will try to watch our language.
No
Today we're
worries.
talking about 1996's movie Romeo and Juliet, starring DiCaprio, Claire Danes, Paul Rudd. I was surprised; I did not remember him being in the movie.
Oh yeah.
John Leguizamo and Paul Sorvino. Yeah, he's in that too. It's a pretty all-star cast.
And
Oh, yeah.
Harold Perrineau as Mercutio, who is my favorite.
Was your first time seeing this, Lucas?
Yes, it was.
Really? It's funny, like this was like my introduction to Romeo and Juliet as a kid because I knew nothing about it when I saw this movie. I remember I'm like, this is cool.
I was saying, we read it I think it was my freshman year of high school, and I was like, about it. And an ex of mine, like later, like from college and that, was like super into Shakespeare, so it was ruined for me forever. Whatever interest I had in it, anyway, there wasn't much to begin with, but...
Makenna, you chose this movie. It said it's your favorite, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's one of my favorites ever.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I messaged you. I was saying like it's kind of weird because the whole DiCaprio phase I think was over by the time you were born, where he was like on every magazine cover ever.
Yeah, I know. My mom went through her DiCaprio phase at the same age that I'm going through it now. So
That's funny.
yeah.
If you guys don't know, Makenna was actually recently in the movie Mudblood, a Harry Potter fan film. It's gotten a lot of attention on YouTube, and I'm betting at least half the people watching this have probably seen it.
Nice.
Lucas, you watched it yet?
I have not, but I'll have to after the show.
It's really good. I was really impressed by it.
Mudblood, it's called?
Yeah.
Noted. All right.
By Conrad Faraj, his last name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet. I'll check it out.
So jumping off points, what do you guys think of this movie? I know you said it's your favorite. Like, how did you find this movie?
Oh, I love it. It was my mom. My mom like loved this movie. And so she showed it to me, and I've like always been into Shakespeare, I guess. I'm just like really into like literature and acting and, you know, Shakespeare. So so we read this, I think it was also freshman year. And you know, I love how Shakespeare is so like timeless, how his story lives, but I mean, it's just so boring. Like it's just so hard to sit through and read.
Yeah.
Like it's really hard to understand like the first time you're reading it. And so when I saw this movie, not only is there just like an amazing cast and the aesthetic of it is just so beautiful, like I loved it, but I also loved the story, and I loved how they kind of portrayed it with the words that Shakespeare intended it, the way he intended it to be performed instead of read, you know, and they put a modern spin on it, so it was like easy for me to digest and to watch. And yeah, I just thought it was brilliant. It was really well done, in my opinion.
Yeah, like Shakespeare's one of those authors where it's much easier to watch it and understand it than because if you're reading it, oh my god, like you know, theater class, I remember they give us like 4 scripts at a time to read and have like a report ready on them with our thoughts. I'm like, I stopped at about page 2.
Right.
I need to watch a YouTube video on it.
Yeah, with Shakespeare, you can have like one of those reader's guide where it has like the annotations and that next to the actual prose, and you're still like, I have no idea what is going on here.
When he says, "Doth thee art thou Julio," what he meant was, "Hey, what's up, Julio?"
Yeah. But it's easier to understand when you're watching it. And so it's like, it's just a whole different thing. Like reading it's like, whatever. Watching it, it's like, it's just, I love it. I think it's really timeless, and it's really amazing to see that.
It's really cool too how you can take it and kind of, you can change the costuming and the scenery and stuff without changing the story at all. Like there's so much you can do with all of his scripts to make it more accessible to audiences. And this one's a really great example of that too. This modern day. Well, modern day before cell phones. That modern day. It's in the dark era.
Yeah, in the dark ages. I'm
Back
surprised
when we actually
that
had to
this
write
was...
letters and stuff.
when they when they were just getting cell phones inside of cars.
We had telegrams, not text messages.
Oh, for
We actually had to send smoke signals.
Right, smoke signals, carrier pigeons. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where J.K. Rowling got the idea for the owls, by the way, was our carrier pigeons in the 90s.
Oh, makes sense. Yeah.
It does. No, because I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry.
No. We gotta have fun with it. It's fine. And I'm trying not to curse, so it's probably a good thing that you're interrupting me.
That should be the tonight's drinking game, by the way, isn't actually a drinking game. You have to drink water because this is a PG episode. So there you go. The drinking game is every time we almost curse, take a sip of water.
If we say shoot or darn or then take a drink.
Gosh darn curmudgeonly.
Yeah, it's a good thing I have this from earlier. No, I was surprised that this was Baz Luhrmann that directed this, just given the grand scale that he directs on. I mean, from visionary director Baz Luhrmann, you know, I was surprised that this was one of his films. I mean, it seemed like keeping things like, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I would have expected him to have kept it completely faithful to the original play. I would not have expected like a modern retelling or modern like adaptation of it.
Yeah. It's kind of pleasant that way too. It's like having a modern adaptation, like I said, makes it more accessible and more, I guess, visually appealing. Because if you're watching a period piece, it's already like one step removed from being immediately interesting to you. Unless you really love period pieces.
I loved how they kept the script authentic, but they just changed the way it was portrayed, and they changed like the setting and the costumes and everything, and they changed swords to guns and stuff. I thought that was really creative.
Yeah. Did you watch a lot of Shakespeare on stage?
I've watched a few, but just like stuff that they had like locally around here.
Yeah, like the Shakespeare in the Park stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that. And I do like a Shakespeare competition thing. So sometimes they put on stuff during the competition. So I've watched a few of those, like Macbeth, Hamlet, you know, whatever.
A Shakespeare competition?
Yeah.
What's that like?
Oh, it's cool. You just like do a monologue and then you just compete against a bunch of people, but it's really fun. And it helps me understand Shakespeare because I've always been really bad at understanding his language, so it helps.
I think most people who pretend they all like automatically get it are the ones that are just totally lying. Like you have to read it like 3 or 4 times at least, and then I'm still faking it.
There are two kinds of people that don't get Shakespeare and liars that say they do.
You have to like spell it out for me like stick figures, then I'll get it.
Yeah.
Like storyboard it like this and then oh yeah, what is happening?
Have like a translator like on the screen, the subtitles of what they're actually saying.
It's like the live closed captions where it's coming across like as it's happening, like a live sporting event or something.
You guys have any favorite moments in this movie?
Oh, I loved the party scene. I think it was just so iconic, the visuals and her costume, Juliet's costume, and just like everything, the way that it was filmed so organically, where it was like you were following him around the room. I loved that scene. I thought it was beautiful. And I also think that the guy who plays Mercutio is a very good actor. And I loved everything about it. I think it was so well done.
Harold Perrineau is the actor that plays Mercutio. And
there's a water named after him. Is that Pellegrino? Sorry.
Yeah, that's San Pellegrino, and it's Italian. No, I lost it when I saw it was Harold Perrineau as Mercutio because I know him from the show Oz that was on HBO back in the day. So it was like, oh my god, I love this guy. But yeah, no, the party scene was great. Mercutio's performance was ridiculous and fun, but that's to be expected for. I mean, it is. I guess you would call Mercutio like a drag performer or like some kind of. I don't know, because the internet had opinions on that, and I'm like, well.
Well, if it's one thing the internet's good at, it's forming opinions, just not always eloquent ones.
They're not always good ones, or even well thought out,
or even valid ones.
Yes, the old YouTube University and Google College.
Yep.
I also got a real kick out of like how Romeo and Juliet like first lay eyes on each other through like the aquarium.
Yeah.
Like that was a really it was just that little something different. I was like, oh yeah, no, that's really cool. Like the way they
And it's so iconic. Like you see it everywhere now. And yeah, a lot of the shots that they have there are just so like aesthetically beautiful. It's like, wow.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had to like go back and recast any of this movie, is there a single role you would recast, or is this casting pretty spot on?
I mean, I love it. I would put myself in there, but you know, other than that, yeah, I think
Who would you play
really
then?
good.
If you could pick a role, who would you want to play?
Well, Juliet, obviously.
Okay.
She kissed
I didn't want to
Romeo, dude.
assume.
It'd be DiCaprio.
Yeah, right?
I didn't want to assume, but I kind of guessed. I don't know if there was any. I didn't have any moments of like, you know, who would be good in this role, so and so. Like it was. I guess I was surprised that Claire Danes, because I guess I didn't realize she was that big of a deal in that time. Like I know her from the show Homeland
Mhm.
on Showtime, so I guess that surprised me that she was like a leading role like the year I was born.
Well, this was like the long ago, Lucas. This was in the Dark Ages.
Yeah,
She
like
had
I
a
say, it
career
was the
before
year
that.
I was born. I'm old as you know what, but
Oh God, take a sip of water.
yeah, I caught myself.
Yep. What I like about this too is it kind of has the debate of whether or not Romeo and Juliet is actually a love story, or if it's more of if that's been kind of lost in time. Because I think this version of
Yeah.
it was more of a love story than the traditional plays, where
Mhm.
I think over time it became known as a love story, where it's just kind of this sad.
Yeah, well, I agree with that because I know people are all like, well, it's not a love story anyway. Well, I don't think it was supposed to be. I don't think it was written to be a love story. I think it was written to be, you know, a tragedy, and it is. I think they portrayed that well. I think that obviously they had to have the romance. I mean, like it's the 90s, but I liked the way that they did it.
Yeah. Is there any scene you would like to see added into the movie, like a deleted scene that you didn't get out of it that you would like to have seen?
Oh, I don't know. I think they did all of the things that I was looking for in a movie about Romeo and Juliet. So yeah.
Lucas, what about you?
I don't know if I have one. I think it got where it needed to go. I mean, like McKenna said, you know, everything that you remember from the play is pretty much in there as near as I can tell. It's also been a few years, but
Mhm.
so I don't know if there's like if there's like a deleted scene that I would suggest for this one that's not going to be something outright ridiculous.
Yeah.
What was the 90s? I would like to see DiCaprio's Pokemon card collection. You had to have a deleted scene about that. It's all
Yeah.
the rage.
Well,
back then.
Something tells me he would have been a Digimon kind of guy, but I don't know.
Oh, really? Don't make
I
me
just-
hate DiCaprio, Lucas.
I'm not trying to. Can you really hate Leo DiCaprio though? Can you really?
never. He's perfect.
There's so many different versions of DiCaprio too. Like if you don't like one of his movies, there's at least one movie out there that's pretty fantastic.
Right? His range. It's called
He's-
having range.
He's
and I
one of
love
those
it.
actors. He is in like he's like the Tim Curry, Christopher Lee, like in that class of actor that where you know the actor from says a lot about who you are as a person.
Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about Mudblood. How did you get involved in that project? How did that all start out?
Yeah, I've been friends with Conrad for I guess like a year, maybe over a year, like a year and a half. I just knew him because he was like a filmmaker around Cleveland, and I helped him out with one of his 48s like a while ago. And ever since then, I've just been like helping him with all of his projects and stuff whenever he needs help. And so he told me he was doing a Harry Potter themed like fan film. And as a kid, I read all of them. I watched all the movies. So this was like one of my childhood dreams to do. So I was pretty stoked. You know, I was Hermione for Halloween like 3 years in a row. So
Nice.
yeah,
nice.
it's really fulfilling a lot of childhood like dreams for me.
It's really cool too, because when you first released the poster, people were asking if it was a movie about Hermione, because that's
Yeah.
what they thought you were playing.
Yeah, I've heard a lot. I've heard Hermione, Ginny, who is that? Lavender. Yeah, I've heard a lot.
I'm trying to remember all the characters. It's been so long since I read those books.
Yeah.
What did you think of the movies? I mean, it's a total side subject, but were they actually like, did you think they were really good, or did you wish they would have been better?
Ooh. Honestly, I liked them. I know there's like the book versus movies debate, but I liked them both. I think that the books were really good, and I think the movies really delivered as well. They were really engaging, and yeah, the acting was great. I like them. I think it's a good, classic group of movies that you should watch as a kid. It's like, everyone's childhood.
Yeah. It's funny
Yeah.
now seeing Daniel Radcliffe go from playing Harry Potter to playing in like Guns Akimbo,
Oh my
and all these other
god.
movies.
Daniel Radcliffe has fallen into another class of actor where you can only see them as that character. Daniel Radcliffe, you immediately think Harry Potter. It doesn't matter if you see him in Guns Akimbo, The Woman in Black, any of those. It's Harry Potter. David Schwimmer, who I'm not a huge fan of anyway. I remember
Ross?
watching. Well, you're right, because I was watching, what was it, Band of Brothers, and he's in the first couple of minutes of it, and I'm like, I'm waiting for him just to yell "pivot!"
I mean, if the Twilight kids can break out of that phase, just about anybody can.
Yeah.
You had to get a reference in there, didn't you?
I did. We
Because
reference
there's an
that
ongoing
every
joke.
episode.
There's for those keeping score at home, and for Makenna who should not watch any of the episodes before this.
Earmuffs.
Yeah, censored versions. We've
have
gone
those?
several episodes without. You want to do that kind of editing? I don't.
Always got time for that.
I was gonna say, I'm not saying we can't. I'm not saying we should. But there's a running gag on here where we make references to Twilight, and there have been
forget the other
others,
one.
but Twilight's the big one.
Yeah.
My
Coming to
crappy
actually
internet,
enjoy
but-
those movies for what they are. They're not my favorite movies, but they're also not categorically terrible. But getting back to the movie Mudblood, there's part 2 coming up, isn't there?
Yeah, soon.
You guys filming it currently, or when's that starting?
We're filming it. We're starting next week.
Oh, that's exciting.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Does you have like a plan for how it's going to go from there, or is it just going to be a 2-parter?
It's a trilogy, so there's going to be 3.
Oh, sweet.
So very excited for that.
And how long have you been acting? Because I know we were in the movie A Summer to Remember, and you've been acting for a while before that, right?
Yeah, I've been acting since I've been acting in musicals since I was like 10, and then I started movies when I was around 12.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What got you into it?
My family friends were big theater people, and one of my friends, she was Annie in a musical that we saw, and we went to see her in it, and I went over to my mom and I was like, I want to do a musical, and she was like, okay, I'll sign you up. And I guess that's where it started from there. Ever since I was little, I would always make little videos with my sister, and I would force her to put on skits and dances with me. So I guess it's always been in me. I'll see home videos where I'll take the camera from my mom and I'll go around the house this is my room. I feel like I was born to be on screen.
That sounds like TikTok before TikTok was a thing.
Yeah.
TikTok's always been a thing. You just didn't let it into your heart until recently, Lucas.
Which I realized Vine was there before that, but I was not.
We don't talk about Vine, Lucas.
Tell that to my fiance, because she's obsessed with Vine, even though it's a dead platform.
It'll come back. People aren't ready for it. So does anybody have any closing thoughts on the movie, Romeo and Juliet?
It's beautiful. Everyone should watch it. It's a classic.
Lucas?
I went in with no expectations because, as I said, I'm not very big on Shakespeare personally, but when it comes to this show, I will try just about anything once, as evidenced by Gentlemen Broncos.
Most underrated movie ever.
Yeah, which I wound up loving Gentlemen Broncos, to be fair.
To be foul.
To be fair.
To be foul.
But no, I appreciated just the star-studded cast and just everything coming together. I mean, it was told well, especially if you know the story. But I mean, I was pleasantly surprised, but I've seen it once. I don't need to see it again.
I was really surprised in all the Avengers movies, they never made any references to Ant-Man being in Romeo and Juliet. There's never that inside joke.
I think he wants to forget.
That's why I think about Paul Rudd, though, is he doesn't age, so it looks like something that he just did.
God, he's like
it's
what?
insane.
He's like what in his 50s or something?
I think he's
Right?
secretly.
He looks the same.
He's actually a 90-something. He's just a vampire. He doesn't age. He ain't Keanu Reeves.
I was gonna say. I thought that was a Keanu Reeves thing, not a.
Well, Makenna, where can fans find you? Do you have a page on Facebook or anything?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram too. Just at Makenna Weyburne.
Awesome. Well, this has been Family Fun Night. I'm Chase Will.
I'm Lucas Liner.
And I'm Makenna Weyburne.
We will see you guys next week, episode 750.
Woo!
Hey guys.